Hi, welcome back to another video. So in this video, I want to talk through a brand new tent that only got released last week, and this is the Terra Nova Pioneer Lite 2. So for 2025, Terra Nova have made updates to lots of their tents and brought out some new tents as well. And I reached out to them to talk about, I was looking for a new tent, and kindly they offered to send this one out for free so I can have a look at it and have a bit of a play and take it out in the mountains. Now, this isn't going to affect my opinion in any way. You all know I love my tents. I have a lot to say, so this is going to be an honest first look. We'll talk through a couple of the specs, let's get it set up, have a look at it, see what it's like, get inside it, see how much room there is, and we'll also see if there's any changes we'd like to make to it, anything we'd like to see, and hopefully by the end of it you've got a bit more information as to decide, is this a tent for you? So for 2025, one of the changes Terra Nova have made, the big changes, they've got like a new material, and it's a triplex fabric. It's recycled, and on most of the tents that means lighter weight, so you can save a bit of weight. But they have, especially with this tent, made some updates and changes on their other model, which is their Pioneer Compact 2, and you can still buy that model, but this one's got a few little features and updates why you might prefer this one. This is advertised as a 4-season tent, so 3 to 4 season tent, and it only weighs 1.5 kilo. It feels really, really light. Now, bearing in mind, the 1.5 kilo is just going to be your inner, your outer, and your poles. No pegs or footprint is included. And at the time of this video going live, they've got a special offer on this tent where they're including a footprint. So if you add the footprint, that's obviously going to add some weight. Now, I got this out of my scales early today just to test those weights. You know, so sometimes companies don't give you the accurate weight. So it was advertised at 1.5. I actually got it at 1.45, a little bit lighter. Footprint weighs 310 grams. So that's an optional extra, but I usually do use a footprint. It helps with the vestibules. It helps protect your tent. So you can add that weight on as well. And then the pegs. We will talk through the pegs. You get 16 pegs, and you do need 16 to fully stake it out, even in, you know, the extra guy out points, things like that. But all in all, for the package that you receive, I weigh this tent at 1.88 kilograms. It feels really, really good. This is with the poles included, and this is 36 centimeters in height because of the length of the poles. But what you'll find is if you take the poles out, which we'll do now, poles and pegs, we'll come back to that later. There you go. So this tent goes very, very small. You could even change the shape of it, have it a little bit thinner in your bag. So if it was me packing this bag, I'd definitely take the poles out, leave them separate, leave them on the side of your pack, and just pack this as it is, because it's very lightweight, small, and you can fit this into any bag really. So these are the poles that you get. You get 2 poles for this tent. Now these are 8.5 millimeters TN reflex poles, so 36 centimeters high. And I like that they're short as well, because they pack in your bag that little bit easier. You know, stick them in on the side, they're not going to take up much space, rather than really long poles that you could snap. So I really like these, and they're color coded to make it easy as well when we pitch it, and we'll show that these match up with the sleeves. So I've always liked Terra Nova pegs. They're always lightweight, they have a good grip, they've normally got a little twist on the bottom to really help you get in the ground. So you get 8 of these, and with this tent, these are designed to be used on the guy lines. The other 8 pegs you get are incredibly lightweight, and they are nice quality. I'm not a fan of these type of pegs. They are easy to get in the ground, but they don't have the best grip, you know, so they can come out easily. And I do find that sometimes on shepherd hooks, they can twist, and then you find that your guy lines can come off. But obviously in this case, they are going to be on the main part of the tent. But what I always recommend is get yourself a decent set of pegs that you like, you know, long stakes, small, a different grip, and I use those for all of my different tents. I will be keeping these, I think these are great, but when I use this tent, I will be replacing these with 8 others like this, but the longer versions. I'd like to see them give you 16 of these though. Come on, Terra Nova. Right, so first things first, let's get the poles set up. I always advise doing that when you're pitching a tent. So as I say, we've got red and blue poles for easily color coding, and we do have a tent repair sleeve as well. Always good to see. On a previous camp I did when I was with Andy and Al, you know, we had to use one of these to repair Andy's tent, so really nice quality. But just in case, you know, if no one's ever used one of these before, if your pole does snap, you can kind of slide one of these over it, tape it either end, and it'll get you through the night. So we've got the red pole, and I believe this is the pole that goes across the width of the tent. Again, really nice quality poles, 8.5 millimeters thick. Just to put that in perspective, in my Hilliberg, they're 9mm poles. So yeah, really good, strong poles. Lightweight as well. Now this one is your pre-bent pole. So this will be for the length of the tent. So this will go across the middle like this. Next, let's get the tent out. Again, really nice big stuff sack, so easy to get your tent back in there. And you have got some instructions on how to pitch it there as well. Another slightly little thing, but again, really important. It's got a little handle on the back. How many times have you had it where you can't get your tent out? But on this one, hold it here, nice and easy. Hopefully that won't blow away. I'll just throw that. So this is a tent with 2 doors. It's a 2-man tent. So we've got doors on both sides. So we'll stick one of them on this side. I'm not sure if it's identical on both sides, but we'll see that. So we'll just lay that out first. Hopefully that's in the shot. Couple of things to note straight away. I can already see that the guy line is already attached. Some companies don't do that. Honestly, it's beyond me. So they're already attached, and it looks like on all the corners, you've got adjustable tensioners as well. Really, really good. Good quality, thick guy line, and you've got your tensioners for adjusting. So what we'll do, let's put I think we put the long pole across first. Now, on this side of the tent, we've got a blue sleeve. So the blue pole goes in the blue sleeve, surprise, surprise. Ignore the train in the background. Train line literally straight behind. Now that went in there really easy. No issues pushing that through there, plenty of room. Now sometimes on my tents, if it was windy, I'd probably put a stake in the corners as well. But this is a freestanding tent. So what we'll do with this one, we're just gonna put all the poles in, pop it up first, and then we'll have a look at it as a freestanding tent first. No wind today. And surprise, surprise, red pole in the red sleeve. So just push that through as well. Try and get it a little bit even. Right, there we go. And now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna clip the red sleeves in first. So on either side, you've just got 2 little eyelets that you stick them in. And what I do notice is you've got 2, especially with the size of the sleeve, that if you wanted to, you could double pole this tent. You only get 1 set of poles with it, but if you were in maybe particular adverse conditions or you were really, really worried, you can get a second pole as well. I'll just say, in all the tents I've ever owned, I've never double poled a tent, and I've never needed to, but the option is there should you require it. Okay, now if we stand the tent up, we should just be able to put either end in, and it's the same at these ends as well. So we've got 2 eyelets. I'm going to put it on the inside one, so we'll click that side in, and exactly the same on this side as well. Now this, as I said, this is a freestanding tent, so yes, to peg it, you're going to have to peg out the corners, but to say that that's pegged now, and if you can find a decent spot, so you know, you can turn the tent round, have it this way, have it that way. So what I've noticed straight away, and what I really do like, and I've seen this on a few tents, the doors are on opposite angles. And what I mean by that is, yes, we've got a door on both sides, but this door opens this way, and on the opposite side, it opens the opposite way. I love that feature because not only is it good to have double doors so you can open one for sunrise, one for sunset, but it's good for the wind. So if you've pitched up and you've got this tent door open and all of a sudden, and the wind's coming this way, brilliant. But if the wind changes, it's blowing right into your vestibule. So what you can do is close that door and open the other one, again, to protect you from the wind. Still a little thing, but quality of life, it really adds to it. Now it looks like we've got 2 additional clips on this side and this side. There we go. And what we do have as well, we have a top cover. Now if I slide that down, you'll see the pole sleeves are completely covered anyway. They look really nice quality all the way along. And on the top of the tent, we've got 2 little vents. So I'm guessing if you had really, really nice weather, you can just pop this off. You don't even need this top cover on. So if it rained, obviously you would need this on, but you've got some mesh here, so that will help for venting. So if you know you've got a good night, you could literally just take that off and leave the tent as is. We're going to leave this on as if it was bad weather. So that just clicks on, and they are adjustable as well to tighten that. So again, nice little feature, just tighten that one down. Perfect. So what we'll do now, let's stake out the tent. So I'm going to use these shepherd hooks. As I say, not the biggest fan of these, but let's just peg this down. And now what we're going to do, we're just going to go around and we're going to use these last 4 pegs to peg out the 4 corners. So I'll do this one first. And again, these are adjustable guy line tensioners. So we'll loosen them off a touch. Got a little bit of adjustability there. There's one. Okay, and the same on the opposite side as well. This will give us a nice shape on the tent. Put that on there. Now, the main parts of the tent are pitched. So you'll notice we do have these little sections here. And these are just additional points just to add some strength. Now, I'm not going to pitch that one out yet because that's going to be for the door. But we'll use one of the big Terra Nova ones for this one. Again, I'm going to leave this corner because this is for the other door. And we'll just pull this one out as well. Right, what I've done, I've just been around the whole tent and I've just guided it all out. I've just left everything but this one on just so it doesn't get in the way when I'm filming. But these are all the little extra guy out points. So I've used all of the pegs apart from one for this. That's full weight on there. That feels really, really solid. Maybe it would be nice to have a little extra guy out point on here. I mean, it's not going to go anywhere, but that may be a slight point that you could add an extra piece of guy line. There is no attachment points to do that, but I think another one on there would be nice. But other than that, that seems great. So let's open up the door and let's have a look inside. So for now, I'm just going to unpeg this extra point here because we're going to be using the door. But obviously, once you're hunkering down for the night, you can add that peg. Let's just check that zip. Yep, zip's good, YKK zips, storm flap fully covered, and it's got a top zip as well. So if you wanted to for ventilation, you can pull it down from the top or do it from the bottom. It's a Velcro closure. We like that. Other thing you'll see is the tent door hasn't flicked open. You've got the little clips on the bottom. I really, really like this feature. I'd like to see this on every tent that I have. So pop that open, just presses, and then let's roll. Okay. What I noticed on here, it has a clip on the sheet. So yes, this is one of the tents where it just clips on. I love that. And just tuck that in. I think it was my Southern Cross 2 that had that as well. That's great, nice and easy. There's a really good size vestibule in there for a bag. And what I can see off the bat, you can make the inner smaller if you wanted a bigger vestibule, and then you can just pull it right back out again. So again, really, really like that feature. Comparing this to the older model, or the other model, the Pioneer Compact 2, this has got a 20% larger porch. Now, this is probably down to the fact that obviously you can slide it open, but it's a lot longer in there. And it does also have a higher internal door. So really easy to get inside. Let's just open the zips. One-handed open. And a stuff pocket for this. So the pocket just stuffs away, and that looks like a good size space in there. One other cool feature with the tent as well, I will get my trekking poles a little bit later, but you can actually pitch this as an awning as well. Now, quite a lot of their 2025 models have brought this out, and it's a cool little idea. So especially in the summer, just to extend that vestibule and give you a little bit of protection, maybe from wind or whatever else. For now, we'll just clip it back on, but we will do that a little bit later. Okay, so hopefully you can still see me. So it looks like we've got doors on both sides. So we have got a door on this side and a door on the other side. However, on the other side, it looks a little bit different. It looks like this is your main door and the other one is a secondary door for getting in and out, because I can see the inners clipped to the outer higher up. Right, so I just had a quick look around the tent. And yeah, it's definitely different. So this door is your main door and the other one is your secondary door. So it's a little bit different. So if it was me, one suggestion that I would do, and one thing I'd like to see, is some kind of marking. So maybe on this little bit here, I'd probably put a little bit of permanent marker on it, a little mark, so you know this is your main door. Because having a look around the tent, I think they look identical, both sides, but as I say, they are a little bit different inside. But I think I would like to see Terra Nova add a little marker on there, just so you know. So just come round to the back side of the tent and let's open this door up as well. Still the clip on here to get that out the way nice and easily, just to clip it on your pole. Now, as you'll see straight away, there is another door here, but it's right up to the side walls. So this is where I was saying before, it's kind of different on both sides. And you definitely need to know in advance when you're pitching it which way is which. But let's just open this door as well. So again, one-handed. So we'll just open that up No stuff pocket on this side. This is your traditional roll. And we've got a little bungee on the side to clip that on. Now this has got the same feature as the other side of the tent, so let me just jump in. So if I was in here and I wanted to use this side as a vestibule, it's not exactly rectangular and it's not the same on both sides. So this side is bigger than the other side internally. But what you can do, you can use the slider and unclip the inner. So you can unclip the inner from the side here, and we can use this slider to really get a good size. So you could still leave your pads fully set up. You've still got a rectangular inner at this point here, and you've got all this space for cooking or your bag. And then at night, I would just slide that back to get the full size of the inner, clip this on again, and you're good to go. Obviously that's just fell down. Yeah, perfect. Right, now I'm going to show you inside the tent. What we'll do, we'll switch to the Action 5, just because it's a little bit wider, handheld, a little bit easier. So first of all, let me show you that vestibule I talked about before. Lots of room in there. I think this is 50 centimeters wide, but it's quite long, so you can definitely get a bag in there. And these are the little adjustments I was talking about. So you just pull it. You know, you can have an immense amount of room there for cooking. We'll shut the door later to see what it's like, but loads of room. And then once you're ready for the end of the night, you just slide that back nice and taut. Decent size hole, decent size for looking out. At either end, you've got pockets here, quite big pockets. They obviously drop off quite low in the corner. Pockets here, you could still use this as a pocket, and then the same on the other side of the tent as well. You know, in the middle of the tent, and I'm sat up really tall there, I still can't reach the top. If it was on a sit pad, I'd be absolutely fine in here. And again, if you're cooking outside, loads of space there as well. And if we come to this side of the door, this is where the differences are. So this one's got a toggle, smaller door on this side, but this one's got your little toggle for your inner. And then this was the little clip that we just unclip from there. And again, just get this and pull this open. And again, you've got a really big space here. And I think, as I was saying, you're still going to get 1 meter all the way along, because that's 1 meter wide. And as you can see, it's just perfectly rectangular there. So if I was in there, it wouldn't affect my pad, and I could have this much room. But at night, so you've not got all this flopping around, I would pull this back all the way and then just clip that back on there. This is all one-handed. Hopefully I'll be able to do it. It's advertised as a 4-season tent, and I agree with that, because it's a nice solid on the outside, mainly solid material. This is mesh here, so you're going to get some venting through, and you've got mesh on the top here. Same again, if we zip this up, again, one-handed, no issue there. Solid on the bottom, and we've got good mesh here for a little bit of ventilation all the way around. Nice and smooth on the doors there as well, which is always important. Now on the ceiling, we've got 4 points for clicking, hanging anything up. So you can put your lantern on there, or you can put a little washing line. I don't think it would take much for companies to start including the washing line. I did mention this on a recent video, but you know, just a little bit of paracord in between there. Or if you want to, I'd probably advise to go round like this in a diamond and just tighten it, and then you've just got plenty of space to hang all your things. And I do like that it's not mesh on top. So if you do get any condensation, it's not going to drip through and get things wet. So, you know, if anything was to drip, it would just roll down, just in case you've hung socks or a jacket and things like that. I think what's next for us to do is let me go and get a couple of my sit pads. So as many of you have seen, I use the Aero Cloud ultralight pad. I like it this time of year because it's just a really big pad. Now that is 2.02 meters long, which is one of the longest pads you'll find. It'll fit in here easy because we've got 2.2. Width is 64 centimeters or 65 centimeters on that. So 100%, you know, that's going to fill the majority of here. Or I've got it in the middle, you know, it's going to fill the majority of this. So you would only get one person in there. But what I'm more interested in to test is to get my X-Therm, and I'll get K's Neo Air X Lite, and let's just see whether you can get those pads in top to tail. Now they are mummy shaped pads, but that'll be interesting. Right, so I've just pumped up and put in my X-Therm. Just so you know, this is an X-Therm large mummy shaped pad. You can see how much room you've got in the bottom, plenty of room. And again, if I push it to that side, you do actually still have an immense amount of room here. But looking at the measurements, as you see at the bottom, you've got loads of room. But if you look at the top, it's going to be tight. But I'm guessing if you top and tail, So one slept one way, one slept the other, you would still fit them in. So the question is, if you were with a mate, top and tailing makes sense. You don't want to be cuddling your mate. But if you were with your partner, so if I came with my girlfriend, we'd like to have our head end at the same end. So I think we'd struggle. But let's get the other pad and let's throw it in. Right, I've just pumped up the other pad. So let's go head to head. Let's have a look. Oh. It's not going to work. So let me show you. As you can see, this is a regular pad. This is a large pad, so 60, I think it's 64, 51. So yeah, you're not going to get those. Now, if you had two regular pads, you'd have a chance, but that would be 102 for two of those. And as I say, this is 1 meter. But let's just try top to tail, just to see if that works. Ah, there you go. So top to tail, that works. So is it a two-man tent? Yes, but if you had two wide pads, you wouldn't get them in. A wide and a regular, you would, but you would have to sleep head to head. And obviously that's giving you no room in here. This is using the full bit of the tent up, but you've still got your vestibule for your bags. So yes, that works, but for me, I'd rather sleep just on my own in here and have ample room. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put in my Aero Cloud Ultralight pad. That's my big pad, 2.02 meters long, 65 centimeters wide. Let's see how much room we've got in there, because I like to keep a lot of my gear inside the inner, just in case it's lashing it down outside. And obviously rain can always get underneath, but we'll put it in here and let's see how much room we've got. So this is my Kilos gear, 2.02 meters long, 65 centimeters wide, fits in perfectly. So obviously there's no chance of getting an additional pad in here with this one, but this is the pad I like to use, and this is what I will be using when I use this tent. So fitting it in right in the center of the tent, you've probably got 6-7 centimeters each side, plenty of room. And if I just jump in, sat in the middle of the tent, I'm still not touching the ceiling. If it was cooking, plenty of room, loads of space for cooking. And now I'll show you lay down in the tent and let's see how I fit in here. I'm just going to switch to the Action 5 Pro just because it gives us a little bit of a wider angle. But if I get in here, so you can see, sat up in the tent, lots of space. And if I lie down, I'll lift my head a little bit as if it was on a pillow. Absolutely fine. Doesn't feel claustrophobic. That's one thing that you can do in some tents, or this inner's flappy. But this one's nice and taut. Once this door's zipped up, this will be tighter again, a little bit like this side. But as you can see, it's very taut, it's off your face, which is great, and I can sit up in the middle of the tent. I'm never going to touch it, and my feet aren't touching either. If I move the pad to one side a little bit, closer to the door, you'll see all the spare room I've got on here. I've just thrown my Pulse 40 in here, but look, if that was in the tent, I mean, there's just an ample amount of space. I've just unclipped it on the outside, we'll just zip that up one-handed. That's full width. I mean, look, when my bag's in here, it's, I mean, ridiculous amount of room. So one of the features with this tent as well is you can set it up with the trekking poles with an awning as well. I've got myself a trekking pole. So this is the lowest this goes. It's an extendable pole, but this is the lowest, so we'll have to use this height. And all we need to do is unclip this off here, and right where the door goes together, you've got a little piece of guy line. Hook your pole through there. You're going to need an extra piece of guy line. So what I've done with this one, I've just put a knot at either side. But what I would probably do if I was doing it for real, I would just have a little bit of a guy line tension on as well, so you can adjust it. Just hook that over the top of your pole, and then we'll get one peg. So I'm going to use my other Terra Nova pegs, the one from my Southern Cross 2, the long ones. Bang that through there, and let's peg it out. You might not be able to see me where I've pegged it, but we'll just stand it up. So about, do we say there, like that? Keep it nice and taut, and then we'll just peg that out. And there we have it. Now that is nice and solid. I mean, you could probably put your pole in the other way around. I'd probably advise it this way though, just it's easier to get on the top. But if you wanted to jab that into the ground and maybe tie that around the top of your pole, you could do. But if I can jump in here now, yeah, this is great. So my head is touching it, but it just provides that extra bit of protection, maybe from the sun, from the wind. and it just gives you more options, a little bit more sheltered. So if I just get in the tent a little bit, if you can still see me, there's loads of room here, and it's just a nice place to be. Don't forget, if the wind was coming from this direction, this is great. It's protecting it. It's protecting you from the wind a little bit so you can cook or you can sit out and enjoy it. If the wind was coming from the opposite direction, you're going to struggle. So all you need to do is go onto the other side of the tent, like I'm going to do now, and set up the other side, because they're not the same. The doors open different ways. So let me quickly set that up first, and then I'll show you the other side and we'll walk around the tent. Right, so I've now set it up on the other side. So let me show you. So this is the side that you saw before. Again, nice looking side, beautiful space. I've shut that door. We're going to open it in a second. So as you can see, this one opens this way, but if we come around the tent, this one opens the opposite side. So depending on the wind, you can open up this side or the other side. But yeah, what a great idea. So really solid. And again, just used another piece of guy line out to an additional peg. So you can just do one or do them both. Okay, so there we have it. That's the first look at the Terra Nova Pioneer Lite 2. So in summary, it's a lightweight 2-man tent, but for me, it's 1 man and gear. It's 1.5 kilo, so very, very lightweight without the footprint. Or if you want to include the footprint, you're looking at 1.8. Still lightweight, lots of room, and it feels really, really solid. If you're interested in picking one of these up, at the time of going to press, as it was only released last week, Terra Nova have got a deal on this tent. It's normally $650 and they've reduced it to $520, and they're including a footprint. And you can actually only buy it from Terra Nova as well. It's their web exclusive, so they're the only people going to be selling it. So if you want to pick it up, I'll leave a link below. If you want to have a look at any other tents, they've got quite a few other brand new tents for this year, 2025. Some of the models, if this one isn't quite suited to you, I will leave a link below. It is affiliated, and if you were to pick anything up on there, it just helps support the channel. And as a thank you, there's a code KGleave15, and that'll give you 15% off full price tents. So it does include the 2025 tents, but not this one at the time of release, because it's already way cheaper than that. Just wanted to quickly show what it was like with the footprint in as well. So I've added the footprint, and as you can see, if we open this up, you can see the usable space. Didn't want to miss that out. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you've got any questions, leave them below. I'll try and answer what I can. But looking forward to getting out in the hills, giving this a try myself, and I'll obviously bring that to the channel as well. So thanks for your time. Please drop a like if you liked it. Do consider subscribing, and I will see you on the next one. And next week will be a wild camp.